Hello, Internet. Welcome back to our Cataclysm golf course scenario series. In the last episode, we had a horrible incident with a grenade, and I want to talk about that a little bit because at the end of the last episode, I was kind of in the moment. We had blown up, which put me kind of off my game, so I thought we could talk about it a little bit more coherently. So in the last episode, we threw a grenade and it landed right next to us, and then we blew up and we got into hypervolemic shock, which is really bad, and anemia. Now, I did have someone in my comments say, "Oh, you weren't even hurt that bad. Don't worry about it." We actually were at advanced hypovolemic shock, which is like, as far as I know, the worst it can be without you dying. There might be extreme in the game, but I think it's just advanced. So we were pretty badly injured, both on our torso and on our body as a whole. And I was not prepared for that eventuality. I should have taken the hemostatic powder with us so that I could guarantee we could quickly deal with an arterial spray. And then looking back at the video and editing, I realized I actually did a really poor job in general of handling that situation. I was trying to just jam bandages on my body when I should have been retreating immediately to obtain that hemostatic powder. So I think I played pretty poorly in general in that situation, and it was not a great. It was not great. We are going to go kill that turret. That's something I'm going to make a priority over the coming episodes, but we could have died, and it really was my fault. So here I have the footage from the episode, and I went frame by frame to try and understand what happened. We were trying to throw straight to this tile. We had tested this multiple times back at base just to see, how we throw, what the accuracy looked like, things like that. So we had a straight line lined up to about here, which is pretty far for throwing one. And so I was expecting it to deviate. But I was expecting it to deviate further down the line. And here I freeze frame. This only exists for a few frames in the game. You can see this dot at the front of the vehicle. What that means is that once we hit enter on this tile and we threw it, this is the actual path that projectile took. And you can see that it did in fact impact the front of this vehicle. So what I thought would happen if you threw a really long distance, I thought it would be like a straight line. So if I was throwing straight here and it deviated and went this direction, I thought it would be a straight line kind of in that direction. So I thought we would be able to make it further before we would impact the actual vehicle. But instead, it landed right at our feet. So that was a really bad situation. We could have been killed. Someone in my comments did say, you could have picked up the grenade and thrown it again. I think it didn't even occur to me in the moment. I was very distracted by the fact that I had a grenade go off at my feet. I do think that probably would have worked, but I also think that if we failed again, it would have killed us. Because if we had picked it up, tried to throw it again or throw it away, and it hit the vehicle again, we would not have had time to retreat, and it would have killed us. So I do think that running away was a fine thing to do. I just wish I had handled it better. I wish I had thought things through. Now, this turret exists, I believe, right here. And what I have learned since then is that throwing does not make any noise. So what we can actually do is come here and throw directly south. That way there's nothing for us to hit with the grenade. And because it's a silent throw, the turret will not be able to blind fire back at us. As far as I know, that's how it works. So that is going to be our plan in the future. For now, though, we are in recovery. We will go back down there at nightfall, but for now we need to address our hypovolemic shock. So what is hypovolemic shock? Basically, this is a thing that happens after you lose a huge percentage of your body's blood. I have no idea how much. My brain says like a quarter of your blood. I don't know if that's correct or not. But it occurs when you lose a lot of blood. It's very common. It's something that happens all the time, I would imagine, across the country and across the planet. How do you treat that? Well, we, in real life, probably would get IV fluids. We would probably get a blood transfusion. We don't have those options in Cataclysm. The wound expansion was supposed to kind of happen between 0.E and 0.F, and they didn't really develop in that direction. So there actually really isn't anything you can do to deal with hypovolemic shock, and I don't know how long it will last. the main thing we're going to need is fluid. Our body is trying desperately to replace all the blood and plasma and all that good stuff that we lost, which is why we're dehydrated. So the first thing we're going to do is secure a lot of water. We actually really don't have any water, and I do think we're going to go through gallons and gallons of it over the next couple of days. So we're going to head off into the forest here and secure ourselves a nice big vat of water. So if we have a look around, we should probably have some gallon jugs. Actually, we don't look that way. We use advanced inventory, search all tiles, and look for gallon. Okay, we have 3-gallon jugs to our east. Okay, so we will grab some gallon jugs. And we will head out and fill those up with water so that we have something to drink. You'll see that our stats are significantly reduced as well. I imagine that's probably the anemia. No, it is also the hypovolemic shock. Hypovolemic shock. Okay, we're going to need some water for sure. Here's a tile of water, so we'll go do that really quickly. Pour in a container. Pour in a container, and we'll save one for actual filling of clean water. And we are definitely not going out to fight. We're definitely not doing any of that. We're just going to sit in our base and read and take care of ourselves. If we go out now and we get banged up, we could lose even more blood and slip back into advanced hypovolemic shock. The other thing I would be concerned about is being cold. Losing all that blood may make us cold. I was worried about sleeping in the last episode because I was afraid we might die in our sleep, but we've made it through that, which makes me think that this is fully recoverable and that we're going to be fine. I think if we were going to die, we would have died from blood loss, or we would have died while sleeping, and we would have been shaking and dying basically. So I think we're going to be just fine. It just takes a matter of time to recover. Which of you is the stove? I would hate to start a fire in the dishwasher. We're gonna need more wood. Let's, we went from dehydrated to very thirsty. Why would that happen? There's probably something here we can drink. So let's see if we can just drink something temporarily. We do have some clean water, so we'll drink some of that. And then we're going to, do we have any? We have a plank. No. Let's wield a plank and go smash some furniture. Classic. I don't need this in my living room anyway. Yeah, so there probably was a better way for me to handle the whole grenade turret situation. I see we're out of stamina. I wonder if that's affected by the shock as well. Oh yes, and I broke my window throwing rocks, of course. I should have been throwing those at the garage door from Jump Street instead of throwing them right next to my front windows. Obviously, not something you should do. Let's grab our spear again. Oh, was I not wielding my spear? Oh, I bet we left it down at the, I bet we left it at the barricade, because I think our spear was over here, and we were dying, so we were preoccupied with dying, basically, which, spoiler alert, is more important than getting your spear back. So maybe we don't have a spear at the moment. That's okay. We can deal with that in the future. For now, let's gather up all this wood and such and throw that on our fire source pile here. And we'll get ourselves a small fire started. So yeah, I do think I did sort of a poor job with it, but the fact that we survived is fine. I do think like a newer player, who doesn't know the game probably would have died in that situation. I don't think they would have understood the urgency of this serious blood loss. Maybe they would. And you know what? Most players, hemostatic powder is not something that's ever really been important before, right? We didn't have a real bleeding mechanic for players for a long time. You didn't really bleed that often. We didn't have the blood loss status effects. We didn't have the internal reservoir of blood. Now we do. And so I think probably a lot of new players are learning that hemostatic powder is really valuable and tourniquets are really valuable. But for me, someone who's been playing for years, I haven't really realized the value of these items, so maybe they would be better off than me. I really don't know. Let's make ourselves some clean water. Make a nice big gallon of clean water for ourselves here. You cough heavily. Your breath gives out. Of course, you were hurt. Yeah, let's go ahead and stop that. Back off. You were hurt. Ignore. We're going to be fine. Stamina's not recovering. There we go. Okay, let's look at our status effects here. Man, we took a long time to get our breath back, huh? Your pale skin is sweating, your heart is beating fast, and you feel restless. Maybe you lost too much blood. Yes, I indeed have lost too much blood. Let us. Where did my. It's probably in my inventory. Is my water? No. Where is my. Where's my clean? Oh, it put it on the desk. Okay. Work on craft. In progress, clean water. Yeah, so I don't know what the real life symptoms are. We probably will be passing out a lot. Pour in a container, gallon jug. We're getting more status effects. Let's have a look here. We raised our food handling to 1. Hooray. There's an overwhelming aura of tiredness inside of you. You feel weak. Where has your strength gone? Your feet feel unusually cold. You feel tired and you breathe heavily. You are anxious and cannot collect your thoughts. You are sweating profusely, but you feel cold. So what I really like about this is that there seems to be a huge variety in messages connected to hypovolemic shock, which I think is really great because a lot of other status effects have one message that it repeats over and over and over. So I think it's pretty cool that there's like, at least 7 of these. We're warm. We're moderately hypovolemic. Yeah, I gotta imagine passing out is a possibility. I have to imagine that we're going to pass out at some point from our blood loss. I do think the main thing we'll notice is thirst. You'll see we just drank 6 portions. We're still very thirsty. Not super surprising. I think in real life you would probably vomit and be very sick, nauseous. Maybe we'll get nauseous and we won't be able to eat food, things like that. I really don't know. Blood loss is like one of those things. It's just so new. I don't know how they work. I don't know how it works. Anyway, we're just going to read books. We're going to keep drinking a lot of fluids. We're going to sleep anytime we get tired. And then at night, we're going to go down there and throw our remaining grenade at that turret. I don't know if that'll be in this episode or not, but that's my goal. We'll go ahead and raise electronics, I guess. And we'll keep an eye on our thirst meter as we go. We are tired. We're going to stop. And I would like to sleep. I do think that we probably also replenish more blood while we're sleeping than we do while we're awake. So we're going to take advantage of being tired as much as possible. Because in general, and in real life, you tend to heal more when you're sleeping. It gives your body a chance to recover. So I think we're in minimal pain. We'll have a little bit of aspirin. And we're just going to go to sleep. Yeah, so I'm a little embarrassed about my poor play in that situation, but I think that we came out of it just fine. I think we should also get ourselves a question, because I feel like I'm spiraling. It's actually been several days since I recorded, as it often is these days. Just stuff around the house, family being home. One of my family members has an infection and is on antibiotics, and he's not feeling particularly well. So they're not really going out much or anything, so I don't have the house to myself quite as much as I normally would, and usually I only record when my family is not really around. So it's been a little tricky to find quiet moments, but we're doing okay. So it is 10 p.m. I think we make more water before we go. Also close our front door so the riffraff can't come in. Give me the splintered wood. We'll make another quick batch of water. And we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep needing to fill our jug and keep that going. We're going to step away, so hopefully we don't get choked to death on smoke. And we'll make another gallon of clean water. Then we'll go out and we will bother that turret. And if it shoots us, that's great. I don't really care. So, put the gallon jug. We're getting a lot of anxious messages. Presumably still connected to the hypovolemic shock. I don't know the recovery time on that. My guess would be probably like a week, just as a guess. Do I still have the grenades in my inventory? I do. So I think we'll head down here and pester this turret. We're very thirsty. Go ahead and drink your clean water. Hot, clean water. Delicious. We're also not really intaking calories because our body is so busy consuming all of that water and filling our stomach with all that water. So, I don't know. We might end up... Man, the turret's just popping off rounds down there. We may end up... Let's go... Let's see if we can recover our spear first. What is this sign next to me? Temperature, I guess. Also, let's get a question, because I feel like I need something to talk about. I feel like I'm spinning. Actually, I think we'll hold off on the question, because I do think we're going to be possibly in a dangerous situation. Man, they're really shooting, huh? Every time we hear this pow, that's at least 3 rounds have been fired. So seeing this times 4 over and over and over, maybe it's not, maybe it is just a burst of 4. Maybe that's why it's popping up. But every time this happens, we're losing more ammunition that we could gain from that turret. So let's look around here. My spear would be about there. Grab our spear, and we will move up north here. Remember, again, line of sight in Cataclysm is a little tricky with the darkness squares. It says it's very dark. We just have to hope that that's true. Although at this point, the turret can probably see us. If I recall, it was right here, 3 tiles to the left. So we're going to pop over. We're going to wield the grenade. Drop the item. How far is this? We maybe should take a few steps closer. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I think that that's fine. That's about the distance that we were throwing to our garage door. We activate the grenade. You'll see we pulled the pin on the grenade. We will throw the grenade, and we will throw it as close to the turret as possible. It did not fire back at us, which is a good sign. We will sprint just because the blast radius might be a little big. Our ears ring. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind being deaf. And that pretty much guarantees that that turret is dead. I cannot imagine that it survived. But for the time being, we will step away. And we will just we'll listen, basically. And we'll listen to see if there's any gunfire from over there anymore. And then eventually we're going to have to take a peek. So what are you going to do? I'll go ahead and take this combat knife, I guess. We're just going to check around for any other goodies. The riot control turret didn't seem to drop any ammunition of any kind. I don't know why that is. You would expect it to drop some of the sponge rounds or whatever they are. 223 casing. Oh, those are my bullets. Right. Oh, also this turret was out of ammunition, so no, it wouldn't drop anything. Here we have our M4, which I guess we dropped in our haste to retreat back to base. Why can't I wear the M4? Oh, that's not my M4. That is a separate M4. Okay, well, we will take the clip from this M4, and we will wield our copper spear. Don't need the casing. So yeah, we have a little extra ammunition there from that gun. There will also be other guns. You feel tired and you breathe heavily. So that looks like that had a negative impact on our stamina, possibly. That's interesting. Anyway, there are guns over here, so we'll pick these up as well. Again, I have a whole truck full of these 223 rifles, so I think we will just take the magazines for the most part here. I think there was another one. Hello, Decayed Zombie. You're not really a concern to me, so we can fight you. But if we come across, like... Yes, if we come across a horde, we need to just run away. Because we cannot afford to lose any more blood. And you're going to struggle to get around this sandbag. And I'm sure that they can destroy them. Okay, there's quite a few of them here, huh? I guess these are probably the corpses reanimating. Yeah, you can see they're very heavily injured. That is actually good news, because that means we can basically kill them in one attack. And we don't need to worry too much about them being able to hit us. You're very slow. Why are you so slow? Okay. You're just stuck, huh? We're going to move to the north and let you come up to us. Why are you so slow? I'm passing turns, by the way. I don't know why they're moving so slowly. Maybe because they're so heavily injured. Again, I'm going to take the magazine out of the gun. Pulp these corpses. The fact that we're not hearing gunfire may be that the turret is dead. Let's have a peek here. Can you see through these? Yes. So let's peek That's not where the turret was. You can hear again. Peak. The turret is down, so that's good news. Looks like 3 ammo belts. I think that's like 300 rounds. Oh, no, it's so many. Why, okay. So that's about 1500, no, 1460. Normally they have 1600 rounds in them, so he must have expended, or is it just 1500? It doesn't look like it's expended that much ammo. I expected it to have spent so much more than this. But anyway, that's really, really good news, because that means we just got enough ammo to do... I mean, really, we could play for probably the rest of the game just using the ammo we just picked up. Have a look at this gun, another M4. We will take the clip out of that as well. It's also really nice to have these backup magazines. That way we don't have to constantly juggle just two magazines, reloading them as we go. We can have a backup pile in our backpack of extra rounds. There was hemostatic powder here. We would not have been able to reach it during the fight because it's too close to the turret. So we didn't have access to these tourniquets or hemostatic powder. I did check the northern corpses for a tourniquet or an IFAK while I was kind of desperately bleeding everywhere, but we did not find what we were looking for. There are more grenades here as well, which is pretty nice, so that if we come across this situation again, we can obtain even more ammunition pretty easily. Check these here. Canvas sacks, yes, so these are broken sandbags. Not super relevant. You're knocked to the floor, yeah, so that is more or less what I expected. I'm actually surprised we didn't pass out. I figured if we were going to go down, we would probably pass out, but it looks like it just knocks us down occasionally. We are exerting ourselves somewhat. We should not be fighting at all while we're in recovery here, but we wanted to obtain this ammo. So we'll take this extra clip, check really quickly to see if there's any other corpses with valuables. Take the MRE, of course. Always nice to have MREs. I guess we'll take the gas mask cartridges. We probably should pick up a gas mask if we see one. I usually don't, but they're nice to have. I'm sorry, what was that? M18? Yeah, we'll take that as well. Hopefully that just means that the holster is damaged. Hopefully that doesn't mean that the gun is damaged. They do much less damage when they're partially destroyed. No sidearm on you. No gas mask on you. Do have an army helmet, but it's in pretty bad condition. I don't think we need any of that. And then finally, we're going to pick up these ammo belts, but they are going to be very heavy. You're overburdened, you're knocked to the floor. Yeah, let's drop. Let's drop some of these because they're too much for us. Go ahead and drop those. We actually don't need to take them all with us right now. It's totally fine. Do we still have one? We do. Can I pick up another one? I can. Wear it. Very encumbered, dodging and melee is hampered. That's okay. We're going to head back to base. And we should probably eat something since we're not hungry or thirsty. We ought to put some calories in us since we've been really neglecting our calories in this episode. And we'll come back. Any of you particularly empty? Not really. So we'll just drop these here where they will be nice and visible. We will go back and get that third belt while I'm thinking about it. Then we will turn in for the day and just focus on recovering. Rest and recovery. I can't really think of anything that will enable us to heal from hypovolemic shock any faster. Your health stat may have some impact on that. I don't really know how we can fix that at the moment. We could do a temporary boost to our health stat, our hidden health value, but I don't know that it's going to make a huge difference. You know, the shock thing is a relative recent addition to the game. I don't really know the mechanics very well, so I don't know what, what affects it, what doesn't affect it. Which of these is my magazine pile? Ammo. Oh, do I not have I guess ammo counts? Did I really not make a magazine pile? It doesn't matter. I think we were carrying all of our magazines with us, so it wasn't a big deal. Go ahead and drop the majority of these for now. Go ahead and drop the pistol as well. In fact, we should drop this stuff in our base, and we should really be settling into the base and setting it up as our home place instead of just sort of leaving things in our car. Go ahead and drop all this. Keep the gallon jugs so that we can make more water. Tab, just drop all this. The MREs are always nice. I really will never say no to a fully shelf-stable food product. Always beneficial. And in fact, you know what? Since we were talking about calories, they are pretty calorie dense. One MRE tends to have a fair bit of food in it. So let's grab chili and beans. No, you're supposed to pick up the... No, don't consume. You eat your lemon. No, I have caps lock on because I'm an idiot. Let's grab an MRE here. Chili and beans sounds fine. Oh, probably at some point the MREs... Multi-drop. No, don't drop anything. Probably the MREs should be changed to a pockets item. Currently they're still disassemble. You still disassemble them, which is unusual. And this is part of the problem with having them set up this way. So basically what I mean is that the MRE is actually one item, and then you disassemble it, which gives you all the items it's supposed to contain, instead of something like the IFAC where it's just a container that contains the items inside of it. The problem with having a disassemblable item is that you can fail to recover the contents when they get damaged, whereas a container item, the interior items may be intact compared to the exterior container item, if that makes any sense. So we failed to get some of the stuff out of this, but that's okay. And we're going to eat... I wish this was further away so it was easier to see what was in the MRE. We're just going to eat all this stuff to put some calories in us. And then we will drink some more water, which I appear to have dropped. Yes. So, not the most exciting episode in the world. I know, we're just trying to focus on our survival at the moment, and things like that. And because it's so foreign to me, I'm concerned about what the long-lasting effects of this will be, or how long the recovery will be, because it's going to impact our gameplay for probably the next week or longer. So I'm just a little nervous about that stuff. I'm feeling a little bit off with it, but it is what it is. So everyone, thanks for watching. That's it for now. See you next time.